Hello and welcome. Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Challenge. Well. This morning we have once again Henry McKenna Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey Sour Mash. I gotta put that in my notes. I forgot to do that. Sour mash. All right. No age statement. And it talks about how Henry McKenna came from Ireland in 1837 and all of that. Okay. You can get this at Total Wine for $9.49, $9.49. I paid $8.99 at Majoria's, a local grocery store on the west bank of the Mississippi River. Okay. So inexpensive Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's pretty good stuff. Is it great? No, I gave it a B+. Very good. Still very good for that price. Can't complain. They don't even list it on the Heaven Hill website. Go to Heaven Hill. They'll talk about Henry McKenna Small Batch, aged 10 years. Okay, now that's going to cost you some money. Let's see what Total Wine's charging for that one. I forgot to look that up. I just looked at the one here. Now here's a competitor, Larceny. Total Wine has it for $24.99. So $8.99, $9 versus $25, minus a penny on each. Is it going to be $16 better? I don't know. Now, my friend David gave me this bottle as a gift. Thank you, David. He got a deal. He got it for $15.99. So I don't know why they had it so cheap. $15.99 at Bromart on Louisiana Highway 48 westbound. But to find it for $15.99 is very unusual and very unlikely. Okay, so that's Larceny, introduced in 2012, so it's only been on the market 9 years. No age statement for either one of these. This is a wheated bourbon, and it's 92 proof, 92 proof, so it's strong, a lot stronger than your average bourbon these days. You would hope, you would think, you would assume that you'd be able to tell them apart by just the proof, the strength. It says 1870. Well, yeah, John Fitzgerald Distilling was established in 1870. John E. Fitzgerald, but not Larceny. This is a new brand, okay? And it says on the back, John Fitzgerald Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky. But you know, it's really Heaven Hill, because if you look on the Heaven Hill website, there it is, Larceny. And then there's a Larceny High Proof, and then there's Gerald itself, which you can barely find. Mathern's had it, one bottle. I remember they got one bottle in, and this Budweiser salesman said, I want it. And the manager said, okay. And he got it he paid $75 for it. But you typically don't see old Fitzgerald. Larceny, yeah, Mathern's has it. I don't know the price, probably about the same, $25, $26. Joseph Plummer, liquor this early. Yeah, I'm good. I do these taste challenges. I've been doing them for years now, so I'm used to it. Nice bottle. It's got some interesting glass, the way you can look through the glass. It's fancy looking. Okay, and if you read the website, you'll find out why they call it Larceny. All right. That story's probably a lot more fanciful than it really was, but you know, it sounds good, I guess. Total Wine. So let's go. Henry McKenna. That's all I need to break one of these Diamore glasses, beautiful glasses. Henry McKenna. No. They're not showing the small batch, just the McKenna. You can get the big jug bottle for $18.99. Wow. There's your deal. There's your deal. $18.99 divided by 1,750 times 750. $8.14 a bottle if you convert it. Oh, well. $8.14. That's cheaper than I paid. Now, there is a Henry McKenna 10-year age. Mathern's had it. They sold it. They only had like 2 or 3 bottles. And I mean, it was $50. something like that for $50. So, or more. I don't know. It was a lot. So you can get the regular McKenna, and it's good, but I'm sure the 10-year age is a lot better. But we're not dealing with that right now. Okay. Anything else? I can't think of anything. Okay. HM Henry McKenna. Beer Hound says, how do, Runner Root? I'm fine. And I saw Kessler again. I didn't buy it, but I saw it at Dorgnax, and I know Total Wine has it. And that's where I'm going to get it, because Total Wine got the best price. $13.99. Can you imagine that? $13.99 for the big handle. Well, you got to go with that. Even though you don't really want that much of it, you got to go with it because it's the cheapest. It's so cheap. Man, I might go to CVS Pharmacy today and look and see what they got in their liquor section. They don't really have good deals, really, but they have weird products, their own brand of product called Brand Legacy. I'm just curious. I don't think I'm going to buy it, but I'm curious, Ugh. This is a real cork. This is not particle board, press board cork. It's a real hunk of cork, so that's a good thing. It's a wooden cap. Pretty. And my friend David didn't like the Larceny. He's like, that stuff's no good. He's extremely picky, so now you might say, what gives him the right to be so picky? Well, the fact that it's a human right, you know what I mean? You have a human right to be picky as you want to be. It's his money. He bought the stuff. So he didn't like it. I thought, and I told him on the phone, I said, man, that stuff's good to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Then he'll say, your taste and your smell got impacted back at the beginning of the year, late last year, December 23rd to January 2nd. I couldn't smell or taste anything. I was like, get off of that, because I just think it's a good product. Good morning, says B Aviation. Can't wait. All right. Oh, yeah, about the Kessler. I'm going to grab me some Kessler, too. And David will knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. Well, he ain't going to knock anybody out. He might have a bad temper, but, too bad. I'm not going to sit there. Oh, same shade. Amber. Copper. Amber copper. I'm not going to say I don't like a product because of him or anybody else for that matter. And he's not going to say it for me or anybody else for that matter. I don't think he just... The only thing he's ever done is tell me off camera when I turn the camera off, I was going to give it a lower score, but I didn't want to get people angry, I was like, what? And I told him, I said, man, forget that. Just do it. Just call it. And he's gotten better with that. At first, like the first couple of years from 2016 to 2018, he would tell me that, like, off air, like, man, this stuff is terrible, So you gave it a C, you didn't give it a D. So he's gotten more confident in just calling it straight. Now, have I reassessed things over the years? Like, tried something and thought it was excellent, and then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, this thing ain't really excellent. I have to reevaluate. Yeah, of course. I've gone back to beers that were much better than the first time. And I've said this, if you want to give a beer or whiskey or wine or whatever a fair chance, you really need to review it at least 5 times. But then you never get anywhere. It's not practical. Like, people are not going to want to watch 5 different video reviews for a beer. Now, you might say, well, heck, with Budweiser, you probably reviewed it 5 times. Well, yeah, over 10 years, 11 years, you do go back to things. And the revisit is nice. A revisit is nice. Unless you're revisiting Earthquake High Gravity 12%, or you're revisiting Axe Head, or Camo, that's never nice. That's never nice. He's a big boy. Wouldn't want to see him. Yeah, well, I have seen that. All right. Do you like farmhouse ales? Not necessarily. I don't like that Britannomyces horse blanket thing. I mean, I don't really like them. Do they have really great farmhouse ales, saisons? Oh, yeah, great ones. Fabulous. I don't like them, but they're great. They have great Hefeweizens, great wheat beers. Don't like them. If I never drink another wheat beer, I'd be delighted. But they're not based on if I like them or not. The quality is based on, is it well made? Not does some person in Louisiana like it? Is it a saison? Well, yeah, they're just similar. They're like the same thing, more or less. You know, the low alcohol ones are the farmhouse because they would let the workers drink them at the lunch breaks. But it was low alcohol, like 3.2%, something like that. And it wouldn't really affect them. It wouldn't affect them at all, and then go back and work. You know, some saisons can be stronger, like Saison DuPont. I wouldn't guzzle that. You know, I've tried beers, loved them the first time, but the second time and third time they were just okay. Yeah, same old story here. Okay, time to shine. Smells like regular old bourbon. I just had one and I taste it. It tastes like a Belgian. Yeah, that's a Belgian style. I bet y'all didn't know Belgium used to be part of the Netherlands. Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands used to be one single country. Like literally, it was like the same. It was one country. It was called the Netherlands. True story. Then it got broken up into 3 pieces. And Luxembourg and the Netherlands had the same ruler until 1890, only 131 years ago. Yeah, that's a true story. The king of the Netherlands was also the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, because Luxembourg is not a kingdom; it's a duchy. They have a Grand Duke, but they had a law in Luxembourg that only a man could be the ruler. So when the king died, his daughter or his granddaughter, but his daughter took over as the queen, and so automatically a different person had to inherit the throne of Luxembourg, and so they didn't have the same ruler anymore. It was just like a legal situation. That's the truth of the matter. What am I drinking now? Oh, the Henry McKenna and the Larceny. I hadn't started sipping yet. Drewski Brewski. Cheers, Ronaldo. Cheers to you. Wow, how do you know all this knowledge? Reading books. Just reading, reading. So, yep, that is the truth. And another interesting fact, the King of England used to be a German prince concurrently. In other words, a king and then a king. So up until 1837, 184 years ago, that's going on 200 years, so a long time ago, 184 years ago. But the King of England was also the King of Hanover, a German state. The Kingdom of Hanover was also the King of England. But same thing happened. King died. His niece, Victoria, became the queen, but they had a law, they call it the Salic law in Hanover, that only a man could be the king. So a different person took over. And then that broke the connection between those two countries. It was really the only connection between those two countries. They had the same ruler, but they had no, their laws were totally different. They had no, the British Parliament had no control over Hanover. Hanover's Parliament had no control over England. So, I mean, there was only one connection. That was it. Smelled like regular old bourbon, little vanilla, little woody, little sugar candy. These bourbons smell like sugar water. Of course, alcohol. This is good information. Oh, thank you. I love talking about history. I used to get paid to do it. I was a teacher for over 20 years. They used to give me money every month just for talking about history. I like doing it. I had a dream the other night that I was back in the school teaching, and I was showing a map of Africa. And I was telling the students, you see this country here? It used to be owned by Belgium or something. I woke up and I was saying, oh, weird. Yeah, Belgium used to own 3 countries in Africa. Little old Belgium, that little country used to own 3 countries in Africa. One of the countries was bigger than about the size of Europe. Mostly woods, like it's undeveloped. Even today, like almost the whole country is like woods. You walk around and say, where's the number of woods? A jungle.
Why don't you do it again? I got tired of it. It was hurting my voice. Do you think the United Kingdom will make a hard border with Ireland and Northern Ireland now because of Brexit? I don't know.
I'm off today. Yes, I'm not at work. I wouldn't do this if I had to go to work. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But
are you climbing up on the fence?
I think a cat is up on the fence. Well, stay up there if you want. Um, it's causing an uproar in Northern Ireland because it's part of the United Kingdom, and they say, "Well, how in the world can you have a border between two parts of the same country, like a trade border? Like it doesn't make any sense." So it's starting a bunch of trouble, none of which concerns me because I don't live in the United Kingdom, so I could care less.
Do you drink with your students?
Drink water. Honestly, I don't smell really any difference. Smell like a Heaven Hill brand. Heaven Hill got that funk, like yeast. They smell like fermented grains, something yeast product thing. It's hard to describe, but it's sort of distinctive. If you never had a Heaven Hill brand, then it's hard to relate to it.
Yeah, it's like California could be its own country.
Yeah, it would be like if you had something going from Nevada to Arizona, but you had to stop at the border, and they had like you had to check it in and customs inspection and pay taxes and all. Well, I mean that wouldn't. You may as well have a separate country. So the people in Northern Ireland are all like paranoid, and like, what do you plan to give us away? Make us join Ireland? That was the whole reason we were having a riot and wars and everything else. We don't want to join Ireland. We want to stay British, and there was a big controversy there. So, and then of course Ireland, the Republic part with their own president, is saying, no, we want it. We want that country. It's supposed to be part of Ireland. Like I read years ago, Northern Ireland is a British territory that they wish they didn't own. You know what I mean? It's like they don't want it, but they can't give it up because the people that live there don't want to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be like if the United States wanted to give away Connecticut. Like, we don't like Connecticut. Let's get rid of it. And the people in Connecticut said, how dare you give us to Mexico? We don't want to be part of Mexico. We don't like all those spices in our food.
I'm prairie dog, and I'll be back in a few. Okay, there's some law about non-European Union countries and European Union countries having a border, I think. Yeah, some kind of configuration with that, because Ireland is in the European Union. The European Union is like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. The British found that out. It's like a tar baby. The more you try to get out of it, the more you get stuck into it. And people warned Great Britain in Get down off of that screen. Tear my screen up. Well, I hope you didn't. Don't you get on there again. Are you crazy?
There's no ledge. Like literally cat was on side the wall. And the only thing to hold on to is the screen. I don't want this cat tearing up my screen. I understand wanting attention, but enough's enough. I was trying to say, people in England warned the British government in 1973, don't join it. Don't join the European Economic Community, now known as the European Union. It's a trap. It's these people will try to control everything in your country, which they did later. Like, you were not allowed to spank your children. That's the European Union law. And the British were like, what? Tell us how to raise our children.
With all the racism stuff going on, probably English language would become absolute. Britain was small, yet they became a massive empire, right?
But they claim we weren't ever really an empire. I was reading this National Geographic article where they were saying England, it never really was an empire. But, the National Geographic was always like pro-British because the people that controlled National Geographic were from like the Northeast, and they were all like in cahoots with British. You know what I mean? They were like from that heritage. So they were always like hobnobbing with English people. Half of them were part British, half British. So like, you know, they were like obviously gonna spin it to their favor, and they always did. Like if you read any old National Geographic, there are like this article about Gandhi in 1947. This is good for now, or 46, talking about how bad Gandhi was. You know, it's just basically saying, don't listen to this guy, he's bad. And I was like, what does this have to do with geography? It's some kind of political issue, you know. They're very political, Geographic magazine. They're much worse today. That's why I stopped getting it. Okay. Enough political talk. You say this is a whiskey challenge or some kind of political talk? Good question. Woo, this tastes so much stronger. America always copies England. I know. Why do we even break away from that? Cat wants some larceny. No, that cat doesn't want larceny. That cat wants attention. Let's do a shot. Cheers, Drewski Brewski. Okay, so the larceny's wheated, which means it's like more fluffy in the taste, and it'd be milder and have some kind of how do you describe a wheated bourbon? It's like bready more than corny. Like, you know how bourbon is like cornbread, but a wheated bourbon be more like white bread. That's not a great description, but you have to taste them to figure that out. But this one just tastes like strength, like, ugh. Ugh. The power, the power. But really, if you want to get techno, there's not much difference. Is George McKenna a wheated bourbon? I love how these people do video reviews and they like, the mash bill is 75% corn, 15% wheat, and 10% rye. It's like, where did you get that information? They cite no sources. They don't say, here's where I got the information. Here's where you could find out. Nothing. They're just saying it. Like, so where did you find this out? Because Heaven Hill doesn't talk about it. And don't tell me, well, I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend that you've been doing a certain mash bill. No, we got to have a source, not a rumor. You know, this is not a Fleetwood Mac album. Or can you get buzzed by dripping booze in your eyes? I don't know anything about that. I would like to be the president of the United States. Shout out to the 5 that are currently watching. Lazy Le Bon Ton Relais. Yeah, but you got to start small, then you get big. 5 today, 10 tomorrow, 100 Friday, 10,000 next month, you know, and then I don't have to be the president of the United States. I could be the emperor of the world. And if I can't be the emperor of the world, at least I can be vice president of the world. Okay. Smooth, mellow, mild, good tasting. You say, well, it's kind of basic. It's kind of basic. That's why it's $8.99. Okay. Or $8.14 if you go to Total Wine and More and get the big handle. But what a deal. What a deal. Imagine that. Do you have to pay a lot of money for straight bourbon? Apparently not. Can it be good straight bourbon even though you pay only like $12.99 for a huge jug of it? Apparently so. Now there's one at Total Wine called Tom Moore. That's a Sazerac brand. That's an old brand of bourbon. Ain't been, you know, it's not independent anymore. It's a real brand. There was a real Tom Moore distillery. It really got bought out. I really don't know what it tastes like. It's basics, only aged 3 years. Probably tastes a lot like Ancient Age. Might taste almost identical to Ancient Age. I don't know this. Probably never going to buy it. I got too many other things to get. If I got so much back bourbon now anyway, I got so much unopened bourbon anyway. It's going to be years before I buy anymore. So, I mean, let's not even discuss other brands because I got so much already. I mean, a lot. Old Charter. I got Jim Beam 8-year age, the black label, the old one. You know, when it used to say 8 years. I can still get that. I know where to find it. It's old bottles. That's a fact. Now, if you get Jim Beam Black Label, it just says extra age, but they took the age statement off.
Oh, Ron, you going to sleep after this liquor review? No, I'm going for a walk. Ron is the president of Booze Reviews.
Yes, I was elected to that in 2019 for a 5-year term, in fact.
I might run for your re-election. I don't know. How come you don't do rum very much?
I do rum quite a bit. I just did Cruzan Estate Diamond Blackstrap. But, I mean, it was so dark and it tastes like pancake syrup. I mean, I wasn't going to waste time doing a bunch of taste challenges that were no kind of a challenge because it was so obviously not the same as the other. So if I found some black rum, which I could find without a whole lot of effort, like Black Seal from bottled in the Bermuda Islands, the island of Bermuda, the British colony. Oh, I'm sorry. They don't say colony anymore. They say overseas territory. What's the difference between a colony and an overseas territory? The name. Like they changed the name from the British Empire to the British Commonwealth. But they didn't change the law or the structure. They just changed the name. Like literally, they just said, oh, let's stop calling it the Empire. Let's call it the Commonwealth. Sounds better. It's more marketable. Oh, yes. Brilliant idea. So they changed it. None of the laws changed. You know, sound better. Sounds so much better. Anyway,
morning, Ron, checking in. Thanks, Jeep and Foodie. Jim Beam, Master Distiller's Masterpiece is amazing if you haven't tried it. Well, I certainly haven't tried it, but I'd love it. What is the cheapest straight bourbon that's worth buying?
Well, apparently this. I mean, it could be cheaper, but I mean, this is really cheap. I mean, let's be honest. You're not going to find bourbon, a regular size bottle of straight bourbon for under $8. I mean, I guess it's theoretically possible. I did find a liter bottle of Bellows straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey for $5.99 at Savannah discount, but that was Savannah discount, and their prices are sometimes astonishingly cheap, and I would add suspiciously cheap, but I'm not gonna say anymore.
What's your preference, whiskey or rum?
No preference. I like them both. And in fact, I'll tell you what's coming up next. The next rum I'm going to review is called Major Lazer from Bacardi. They don't make it anymore, but it was a special product they made for a few years in honor of a Jamaican, Jamaican Caribbean rap band called Major Lazer, which might be popular in the rap calypso music world, whatnot. Reggae music world, but I never heard of the stuff. But I was at Acquista Paces and they had it on discount. They must have got a hold of a few cases of it and they were closing it out for $7.99. I said, $7.99 for Bacardi? Major Lazer? I said, I don't know what this is, but I'll buy it. And I bought it. And I bet it's going to be good.
Ron, Rom? Wasn't Rom a Marvel comic book from 1981? How much Google pays you?
Enough.
Why does whiskey have another name? Bourbon. Ron, try. Okay.
Getting back to planet Earth now. Well, bourbon is a type of whiskey. It's a whiskey that's at least 51% corn. So bourbon is corn whiskey that's aged in charred oak barrels. And then corn whiskey is corn whiskey that's aged in uncharred oak barrels. Big difference, huh? Well, that's the difference. Not a big difference, but it's a difference. So all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. You get it? I would say that Larceny does not really taste any better. I would buy the Henry McKenna because you're going to save so much money. A lot of money. Why pay $25 for a whiskey when you could pay $9, $8, $50, or $9? Guess what? I wouldn't do it. So Henry McKenna is the winner. The only real difference here is the powerfulness. You can tell that the McKenna is stronger. But so what? Okay, big deal. Oh, it's strong. Well, I know I've tasted strong stuff before. I did the 10% Tiki series from Steel Reserve. It was good. You know, I wouldn't want to drink 10% flavored and artificially colored beer every day, or even once a month, or even maybe once a, I mean, but to try it, it was fine. I wouldn't make a habit of drinking.
I want to see. Okay, Natty Island. Let's. You're not going to see that, so forget it. Wrong. The Space Knight was a good comic book. I didn't say it was a bad comic book. I used to get it. I just didn't keep getting it, but I used to get it when it first came out. I had the first issue, and I like raw bourbon or whiskey. Well, I mean, I like bourbon. I like bourbon whiskey. I like whiskey, like early times. I like Canadian whiskey. I like Irish whiskey. I like Scotch whiskey. I like Japanese whiskey. So I mean, I don't have a favorite. They're just different styles. It's like asking me what kind of salad dressing do I prefer. I mean, I like a lot. I like blue cheese. I can't say I only want to eat blue cheese. I like them. I like many. Okay. Henry McKenna. Here we go. Haha, it is. So does the strength make a difference when you're trying to tell one from the other? Yes. But does the strength make it better? I would say no. No. It just makes it different. So that's very interesting. I really wouldn't have thought that Henry McKenna would beat Larceny, but I'm not really shocked. I mean, you could take a whiskey, it's kind of ordinary, put it in a fancy bottle with a cork, have a big write-up about guys stealing whiskey, from the distillery and all of that, and then you got it. People are gonna run and buy it. Oh yeah. And they wouldn't drink, a lot of people that would drink Larceny wouldn't be caught drinking McKenna. Why? Because it's a cheap brand and I don't want people to make fun of me. Okay, fine. Let them do a blind taste test, see how smart they are. They ain't going to do it. Okay, so Laissez les Bon Ton Relais, a great taste challenge. I got it right. I'm happy. If you want to know what's coming next, let me know now, or forever hold your peace, or forever hold your andouille sausage. But we're out of here. So going once, going twice, and gone. You'll have to wait till Thursday to find out what's coming up. Oh, I'm sorry, later today, because Wednesday, I forgot. Wednesday, taste challenge. I won't have time Wednesday. I'll have to do it today. Well, this was very educational and informative. Many thank yous. You're welcome. And if you were still my Facebook friend, you would find out about West Florida, because I posted a post about West Florida today. And a lot of people have never even heard of West Florida, but I know a lot about it. I'm thinking of doing a beer blind taste challenge. That's the best way to do it. All right. Thanks, everybody. So, Bill, if you want to learn about West Florida, you know where to find me. I'm on Facebook, and I'm in Alcohol Legs, running Alcohol Legs, which I need to go check on anyway. Thanks, brother. Have a great day. Y'all too. Take care, everybody. And on with the day.